Welcome back to my channel. My name's Danielle. I wanted to come on today and give you guys a follow-up on Glossier Play after having it for, I guess, a little over a month now. And yeah, let's jump right into it. Spoiler alert, I kind of like everything now. Even a week ago, I had a different opinion, but now I'm pretty down for everything, weirdly, and I'll talk about sort of how I use them and how I've gotten used to them. Really quickly to get it out of the way, the pencil sharpener and the detailer little silicone brush, the sort of add-ons that aren't the tools, if you will, I guess, of the collection. You know, you could take or leave. If you're getting the playground, which I do think is a great deal and a really nice way to experience it, again, because I do genuinely like everything. I think that that's worth trying if you can afford to do that. So if you're getting them in those, great, awesome. The pencil sharpener, if you need a pencil sharpener, is a great pencil sharpener. You know, there's not much about it. I do like that the shavings collect like in the bottom as opposed to like on the side, like a lot of other pencil sharpeners, if that makes sense, because I don't think that bottom part's gonna fall off. Also, the detailer does sort of ease in the process of putting on the glitter gelée eye situation, but not enough that I would say like you need it, but it definitely is sort of helpful. But just to get those things out of the way, if you're, I think if you're buying like one glitter, like it's really like not like do it with your hand and then like worst case scenario, like pick it up after the fact, you know, or like next time you're buying something from Glossier. But I think you can make it work without it or make it work with like a regular brush or something. I don't think they're totally necessary. Okay, next hopping into the actual makeup. So I've now been to Glossier, I've been an additional three times actually, technically, since I filmed that last video. The first was because I was killing time in the neighborhood and I had watched one or two reviews and I had heard some things that differed from my opinion, and I was wanting to sort of check out and see in other colors what was different and all of that. And then I went back another time to actually swatch other colors and do other things and film it, which I'll include, you know, as it's relevant in this video for you guys. And I picked up two more colors of the eyeliners while I was there, and they accidentally gave me the wrong color for one, so I had to go back and return it, and that was the last time I was there. I wanted to be able to try the metallic formula of the eyeliner, which I hadn't done I didn't pick up in my initial three that I picked up. So again, the initial three colors I got were Critical Mass, Hardcore Velvet, and Disaster Class, so like the fuchsia, the sort of darker teal, and the maroon color. If you didn't watch my previous video, I'll put it in the description box and you can catch up on that. And then the two other colors I got were Early Girl, this light blue, and Candyland, the sort of metallic pinky peachy color, which I'm actually wearing today all over my eyelids, that you can see there. The other two colors that are like very close on my list and I really want to go back at a certain point and get are Nectar, the yellow one, and Jumbo, the orange one. I really liked those. I again swatched all of the colors, which I'll show you here. I put the three colors I had sort of separate on the bottom so you could see how they compared to the rest of them as a collection, sort of. I don't know why I did that. It just made sense at the moment. I think the classic colors, like the sort of copper color and the brown black brack, there's a really funny bit in a recent episode of Glowing Up about the brack color. I wouldn't buy this formula for those things. Like, I think if you need a brown or a black eyeliner, this is not the eyeliner to get. I think what makes these special is the color. I do find it really, now that I've played around a bit and I've listened to other people's reviews, I love sort of doing it all over the lid. I've done it now with these three colors and I've actually had different results, so I want to talk about it. This was great. I'm doing it again today. I actually find, I mean, again, this is the only metallic I have. The metallic formula glides on really smoothly, I think a little bit easier than these, but I haven't really had an issue with these, to be honest, the way some people have. It glides on really easily. There is creasing when you do all of this, but that's gonna happen when you're putting, you know, like a eyeliner all over your eye. It's not super visible with one exception that I'll get into. And it looks sort of worn in and nice, and like, you know, when I wore this all over my eyes yesterday, I got so many compliments. It's a really fun way to do color, and they're like making me really want to do my makeup and break out of my shell, and I think it's a really fun, easy way to play with color and just kind of trace like exactly, you know, your eye shape like along the crease in this, and it takes 2 minutes, and it's really fun and really easy. This one was the first one I did, and granted I haven't tried again, you know, trying to manipulate it knowing that this will happen, but when I did this all over the eye, I got like patching, like right, like I did it and then I got to work and I noticed like right in the center it had worn off. I wish I'd taken a photo or a little clip to show you guys, but that was pretty strange. I don't really know what happened there. Again, most people didn't notice when my eyes were open. It was like me like being like, what is that? But you know, kind of annoying. Again, they're not shadow sticks, so like you know, what can I really ask of something I'm using outside of its main purpose? But I did just want to mention that. I think this is something to do with like the kind of lighter colors. I can't really imagine doing it with these. Maybe I'll try it out just for shits and giggles, but these have been really fun to do that with. The other thing I'll say about these in general is I haven't had any, I think they're really pigmented when I first put them on. I haven't really had any issues with skipping, but I will say that I believe these to be eyeliners that you put on your lid, not in your waterline. The pigmentation is very little in your waterline, except this. So I don't know if this one is, or if the metallics rather are better at that. Again, because this is the only one I have. But I found this to kind of go onto my waterline really nice and easily, but these are not. So that's why they're kind of fun if you're trying to play with color. In general, I tend to use pencil eyeliners in my waterline and not on my lid, like a brown or a black, which is partly why I suggest not to get the sort of more classic colors in this, because you won't be able to do that. At least I wasn't able to do that with this formula. So these are really great and fun to just like put all over your lid, or like put on your lid rather, but not so much for your waterline. So I just want to sort of advise that, because I know that some people only really use pencil eyeliners for that purpose, but I've enjoyed, you know, again, this is a product that makes me want to experiment with makeup, and I don't have many products like that, so I've been really enjoying these. They're really unique and different in my collection, and that's about it. So next we'll get into my next favorite thing, which is the Night Shine Highlighter Concentrate. Again, I have the shade Platinum Rose, and I'm gonna put in here the swatches for these. And part of why I wanna do that is because I started hearing reviews and people saying that like it was too, I find this to be a really, let me walk it back. I find this to be a really subtle highlight. I'm wearing it today. You know, it just, I don't even know if you can tell in the lighting. There you go. It's just like the perfect sheen on your skin. And I compared it to Halo Scope and gave a really similar effect, except that it doesn't have the tackiness that product has, which I don't mind so much in the summer, but this dries down fully. It's not as greasy, it doesn't give that sort of greasier look, but it does still look really wet on the skin and give a little bit of a sheen. And of any of these products, I by far reach for this the most. This has become an everyday product for me. It's so quick and easy. I just take the applicator and blend it in with my fingers and I'm good to go. I couldn't ask for something easier. I mean, it kind of like stands out from the rest of these in that I don't think it is a more subtle product. But I think it's great. And the thing I noticed in some reviews I was watching was that people were saying theirs wasn't so subtle, right? They were like, oh, this is maybe a little more than I go for. I like Halo Scope and that's a little more subtle. And I was like, why? That's so funny that I'm not having that same experience. And I remembered that when I chose that color, I had gone into store and I preferred it to Pale Pearl, which is the lightest sort of color of the bunch. And what you'll see in the swatches is that they're super similar tones. Like one isn't significant, like the two darkest shades are totally different tones, right? There's like a medium and a dark bronzy shades. And these two are very similar in sort of base tone. Like I wouldn't say one's for super pale skin, one's for medium skin. Like they're really similar, but I think that this one has a slightly more champagne kind of gold shimmer to it, and the other one has a more white silver to it. And I think that that white is really popping on people's skin. And I think that that's why if you're going for a more blinding highlight, I think that that is the one to go with. But if you want something more subtle, I would definitely go with Platinum Rose. I think it is so pretty and so easy. I'm like really loving this product. The other thing that I took swatches of and videoed quickly, I've never owned any of the lid stars, and I was playing around with them at one of my visits to Glossier, and I was like, oh, that's actually a really super similar formula to this. So I was talking about this in my video. It felt a little greasy at first. I always that's not like the worst word for me, again, because I'm pretty dry. I like that. It definitely dries down. It's not like Halo Scope in that it's like a greasiness that, you know, lingers for the rest of the day. It dries down to nothing really. I guess it still feels a little bit greasy there compared to like the bottom of my face, but nothing that concerns me personally. Or if you really needed to sort of powder that, I bet you could. But the lid stars I found had a very similar texture, so I swatched two of the lighter colors. I'm now forgetting what they are, maybe Moon and Slip, I think, like the pink and the kind of whitey shimmer one next to those, to show what those looked like in comparison to these colors, because they're definitely not, you know, the same or dupes or anything, but they are very similar, and I was sort of surprised to see that. But if you are familiar with that formula, again, I haven't owned those, and this is just from me playing around in the store, this has a very similar feel to it. So if you're wondering like the level of sort of like slip that this has that I've described, I would definitely compare it to that. Next, we have the Glitter Gelées, my least favorite name of the products. Again, I bought Phantasm and Bijou. Whoops, it's not helping anybody, neither is that. The holographic kind of one, which just looks white, but the kind of holographic one. And this sort of like goldy, burnished gold, like cool toned rather, sparkly one. And I like these. After filming that video, I went out and somehow it wore in much nicer than I look there. I don't know how to like fully describe it. I probably should have, I really don't want to deal with it. I probably should have put it on today so that you could tell. I've worn this another time since, and I really enjoyed it. I put this on just to try and use it on its own, and I did not like this one as much. I'm actually wearing it over some eyeshadow in my drugstore haul video that I did with Caroline. I'll also link that down below if you haven't seen it or you just want to see what the eyeshadow looks like. And it's kind of a hot mess. And I attribute that to the size of the glitters in this. So the glitters in this are significantly bigger than the glitters in Bijou. I'm gonna just like I wonder if you'll even be able to see. So yeah, so there's what Phantasm looks like, and you can just see the size of the sparkle is the bigger. There are smaller ones, but the sort of ratio is there's a lot more bigger ones than there are in the other ones. And then there is Bijou next to it. So even like the big sparkles in Bijou are smaller than the big sparkles in Phantasm, which is the one, there's Phantasm, there's Bijou. Which makes it a lot trickier to wear all over your lid. I think it would be really fun in like a festival kind of context. But other than that, if you're really trying to wear this, I think Phantasm is a pass. The thing I'll say about Bijou, and I will insert some swatches here as well because I swatched this, is that the rest of the other two as well, Glass, Bonsai, and Firewalk, I'm pretty sure they're called, are the same types of glitters as this with a different tone to them. So Firework has that kind of reddy tone to it, kind of almost bronzy, like a red tone to it, rusty, like a rusty red. And Glass Bonsai has a greener tone to it, and the glitters in there do have a little bit more of that like hollow shift to them, kind of like the glitters in Phantasm, but it's like a green gold. And I do like that. If I wore glitter more, I'd get that one as well, to be honest. But I felt like once I was able to get the hang of this is a really fun glitter product. I don't know, I feel like I'm in like Studio 54 when I wear this glitter, like just like putting it actually in a similar layout to where I have this glitter just like on this part of my eye. I think it creates such a cool effect. It stays put. I don't find it falling all over my face. It definitely dries down, and I think it's a really cool product that I haven't been able to find in other glitters. Will I pull it out a handful of times a year? Totally. The other thing about this product that's worth mentioning that I've gotten from other reviews is that this glitter is not biodegradable. So I will sort of put an article down here describing what that is because I don't want to waste a lot of time going into that. But if you read the directions for this product, it says to remove it with a wipe or like a cotton pad using their makeup remover, but you could obviously use any makeup remover because it shouldn't go down the sink because it will never biodegrade. So that is a problem for me. Of course, some's gonna get down your sink, you know, and then if it's not biodegradable and it's like going on, what if like one random glitter like gets inside of you or goes in your eye, you know, it's never gonna break down. So what Glossier has said, apparently according to another video I watched, is that they will be updating this formula and making the glitters biodegradable. Other similar glitters like lemon head glitters are biodegradable, which is, you know, a problem that they didn't really think about that to begin with. To be fair, you know, had I really like thought about it more, I might have second guessed buying this, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I just think it's something to definitely consider. I'm always now hyper scared when I'm like taking this off at night and I'm like, oh, like make sure I get it all off with a cotton pad. But it's, you know, I guess it's hopefully not the end of the world because I'm sure like particles are going everywhere and like I'm sure some is going down my sink. But that is, I definitely had a much better opinion of these ones. I played around with them for a while. They are not for beginners. They are not a bit, if you are a beginner with glitter, go with something like the Stila Glitter and Glow. If you know, want to play around and be a little more fun with your makeup, I think these are really fun, but they are not easy to use by any means. But the effect they give can be really cool. You know, I'm curious if my opinion's gonna change on this one. I doubt it. I haven't really heard anyone who's bought this specific one like have a really high regard for it. It's just too hard with that many sort of big glitters in it to make, especially when you can't control where the glitters are really being placed on your lid, it makes things really difficult, and I don't think it's worth like the payoff of it. And then finally we have the Vinylic lip. There's no version of how you say that that sounds natural to me. Vinylic? I'm curious to hear Emily Weiss say it. I hope if someone knows that there's a video of that, please comment it down below because I would love to hear her try and say this product. And yeah, please tell us how to pronounce it. And I'm sure it doesn't roll off the tongue. Like, why? Why not just vinyl lip or something? I know that a lot of people are calling stuff that right now, but who cares? This was definitely by far my least favorite product until like 2 days ago. I was like, if there's one thing you can skip, it's the lip. It's not good. Like I was preparing for this video in my head being like, tell everyone the lip sucks, you know, whatever. And as I was leading up to this video, I decided to watch a couple more reviews because I was finding out things that, you know, I'm not big enough to be told by the company, like that they're making these biodegradable. There's something else I found out that I'll talk about at the end. So I was watching everyone's reviews to see if there was information like that I didn't really have and just get a vibe of what other people were feeling about the product. I mean, same thing. Once I saw Pale Pearl like popping up in people's favorites and being like, it's so blinding, I love it. And I was like, whoa, what's happening? So I went to the store and sort of tested it against my one. There were just things to figure out. So I tried to watch like a lot of the major beauty gurus reviews of this that did do reviews of this. And I forget who was talking about this, but they were talking about how much they love this. And I usually like their product recommendations. And I was like, oh, maybe I haven't picked it up since. I haven't thought to pick it up. I haven't liked it. I was like, maybe I'm dismissing this too quickly. So I picked it out about 2 days ago and was like, let me try it out, and wore it to work. And I kind of like this. I mean, would I rush out and buy all the other colors? Probably not. The colors don't really appeal to me a ton, in this formula at least. But if they were to make more, I think I could get down. I don't think it comes off the way that Glossier is showing it on social media. It's hard if I get something more opaque with this, it looks crazy. And I think that was the mistake I was making, was trying to make it look like the way they're making it look, really layering it on, putting a ton on, trying to get it to be really opaque and still have that sheen that it tends to have. And it was just like emphasizing my lip texture, gooping up, hard to really place in the right places. I just wasn't down with it. But when I sort of acknowledged it as like a sheer lip color, that's when I started to really like it. So I'm wearing it today. Just quickly placed, there's still some on here, like all over the lip, just one swipe or one sort of application, and I'm blending it in, and I'm liking it as this sort of casual, sheer, like slightly glossy lip that just imparts like a little bit of color. Again, I have the shade Blow Up, which is the pink shade. There's a nude shade, there's like a rusty shade, a true red, and like a red orange. So there's not a ton of diversity in that shade range. I would almost have loved them to have come out with shades that mimic the shades of Generation G, because I think that that really covers your base in lip products. And this almost to me feels like a glossier Generation G, right? If you're thinking about like the sheerness of this product, I think it's a comparable sheerness in one coat. But same thing with Generation G, you could really layer it on and you won't ever get full opacity, which I don't think you'll get with this either, but you will sort of build up a color. And I think that the same is true of this. I think that that's a really, for me, that's been a really helpful way to think about this, is sort of like a glossier version of Generation G, a liquid version of Generation G. And I wish that the colors had mimicked that, because I think that those really sort of run the gamut of what you want for in a lip, you know, a brown, a tan, a red, a berry, a pink, and like you cover all your bases there. I mean, I know that this is supposed to be their sort of more fun sister line, but I think that the formula still indicates that, and I think they could have sort of made the colors a little, I mean, they did such a good job with the colors of the pencils. It's like, I really wish the colors of the lips had really mimicked that. The final thing that I wanted to note that I learned again from another review that I was watching, I'm pretty sure this was mentioned in the Anna Edits review, is that they are phasing out that sort of crazy packaging, the inner packaging that was in these. I've since thrown them all away, or I would show you, but if you missed my video or anyone's video really on it, I think everyone's spoken to this because it was insane. These came in like a sort of metallic-y, aluminum-y, like baggie that was sealed and then placed inside a box. It was really unnecessary. It was kind of annoying and it was wasteful, and it doesn't really speak to the Glossier consumer. So it was a really curious decision, but apparently they're phasing those out. And I think in the next, you know, as products get reordered and remade, I think we'll start to see those not being in those sort of sealed packages inside the box. All in all, I'm really pleased with Glossier Play. I do like Glossier makeup to begin with. You know, I will put that out there. I'm not someone who like hated Glossier to start out with, and I think that this is a natural extension of their girl. It does make sense to me because it is, as much as it is more fun, it still is really easy to wear, relatively easy to use. I think the colors are very much on brand for them. I think the products aren't too much. You know, you can still be very subtle in your application, just like a little more fun. But I don't think that anything is, you know, super, super crazy. Nothing's really super opaque or super shiny or super anything. You know, it's all still very laid back, stuff you could do, you know, quickly and easily and really have fun with. And that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this follow-up after using these for 1 month. I think as time goes on, I might do some tutorials with these, and you know, every couple months do something, you know, every 2 or 3 months do like a Glossier tutorial, because I know that a lot of people are buying the products and maybe watching, you know, an initial application. But I think that, you know, being able to stretch these out of their intended use and have a little more fun with them has been something I've been really enjoying, and you might too. If that's something you're interested in, definitely comment down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have another one for you next week. It will be my Sephora sale recommendations and wish list. I don't know if I'm gonna make that 1 or 2 yet, depends on how long it is. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you wanna see more from me. no hard feelings if you don't. And comment down below and let me know if you've tried anything and what you've liked and what you haven't liked. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.